my role at the end is just to talk about a couple of innovations. Maybe may I ask somebody in the studio just turn off the voice because I hear myself twice, if it's working. So my part, next 25 minutes is just to tell you something about innovations in general, because I'm a big fan of any medical innovations. Also to tell you something why we are here on the market in Czech Republic. And finally, I will tell you a bit the story of our uLékaře.cz. Because I'm surgeon, so I do this with my hands, with a knife, in the OT, cutting people. Only technology I have usually beside me or with me is we turn from open surgery to the laparoscopic surgery. It's a fancy thing, but for me it's not enough if I'm talking about the future of medicine, because I think that it's going to be more digital, more patient-oriented. I'm a big fan also how to make medical care more mobile. That means people are not going to the doctor in the hospital, but rather the hospital is going with the doctor to your homes. So, first part, I took a couple of slides from somebody I admire a lot. It's a guy who is calling himself the medical futurist. And here you see chiefly three colors. Green is what is based already on a place in the care in the terms of healthcare professionals and patients usage. That means you can imagine augmented reality, virtual dissection for medical students, etc. Then there is something yellow, which I call it's going to be here probably tomorrow. Artificial intelligence for recognizing, for example, X-rays, robotic nurse beside your bed once you are in the hospital. The red color means what will be after tomorrow. And for me, for example, because I'm a big fan of teleportation, I hope that I'm first in the planet teleported somewhere. And it's probably not going to be to move my body from one place to the other place, but move my mind to different places, cloud, computer, mouse, or myself, but after 1,000 years. So this is how medical innovation goes in time, and what we are expecting. Basically, everything we thinking of today, it's going to be on a place, and only question in the medicine, same like automotive or banking, will be the ethic part, not the technology, because we as a humans, we can do anything, but it's going to be ethical questions. When I'm talking to my colleagues about, for example, artificial intelligence in the medicine, here in Czech Republic, we have a quite conservative community of people, medical healthcare professionals. They don't believe so much that artificial intelligence can help us. So this slide is about FDA, American Agency for Food and Drug, which already confirm dozen of project in cardiology, pathology, neurology, where AI is already placed. It's not to tell you all the details on the slide, but it's just to say that technology, digitalization, artificial intelligence, machine learning is already here with us. As you may see, this is a typical cycle of innovations. For first moment, you see the hype. Everybody keen on to choose anything else. It's the same if you're into new medication or new device. So in regards of technology, it's almost the same curve. Then basically you do some fuck ups, some fails, and finally there is a adaptation of kind of technology. As you may see, for example, most dots on the right is a virtual reality in the pain management, and then nearby that it's mental health applications, personalized medicine, medical health record, and it's already on the place thanks to Hedepy or uLékaře.cz and their global applications. Because I always would love to try something on myself. You may see that I have two watches. I have a lot of things on my chest. I'm not going to show in my. This was one example I tried to show. It was application developed in the US, small kind of box you can put in your bra if you're a woman, or in your pants if you're man, and then you can really precisely measure several physiological functions of the human, and just to see the trends and make interpretation really a possible disease, or to work with the user in the terms of prevention. The second thing I'm really keen on is Czech applications, call it MySASI, but it's a global project today. It's working with the heart rate variability, very precise, originally designed for people who do professional level of sport. Now for the wide public, connection of application by your mobile phone and with HR belt. Not going to the details, just tell you that it's not always about the software, but also possible hardware. But still, me personally, I'm mostly a fan of anything which is based on software. This is one of the best thing I ever tried. Binach AI, it's an Israeli application. Just looking on the screen of your mobile phone for 60 seconds, you can measure your heart rate. It's not such surprising for me, but oxygen saturation, and in the future, blood pressure or level of your alcohol in the blood, in your blood, for me, it's a kind of miracle, but it's working. So for me, for example, this application is far away in all the peloton of the others who do kind of inventive work in the field of medical innovations. This was our idea a couple of years ago when we thought about how to replace physical primary care by kind of box where you will have some hardware devices such as a thermometer, blood pressure, or other things, and basically just to help people to approach the medical care, mostly primary, to show or to send GP, which is totally remote, physical signals or physiological signals from your body, just to precise his diagnostic and possible treatment. So imagine that you are going to kind of telephone box, sitting just using a couple of devices connected to your body, talking to your doctor through the screen. And after 20 minutes, you have a real medical consultation. You can compare totally with a physical examination with your doctor, but your doctor is 100 miles from you. Because I'm also kind involved in a humanitarian medical aid. We are using a lot of things. For example, drones. In Africa, we can deliver blood units, we can deliver medications, vaccines, whatever. The only thing you have to explain local people to do not shoot on our drones because they are not military devices, but medical devices. Just to tell you or show you that sometimes the innovations, they are running so quickly in the part of the world you not expect in this moment. For example, Africa. And finally, this part, just to tell you, for us, the biggest we admire in our field of telemedical consultation, it's a Cree from Sweden with hundreds or thousands of users now placed in several, not only European countries, but if we are talking about the others, you see the map of Europe. There are several players in the field. So we, as a company from Czech, partially from Slovak Republic, are quite small, but in the terms of delivery quality and a similar service, we are in the same pool of solutions. Today we are talking about mental health. I just used some screen from one website. You can see not only the names of the probably the biggest global companies and services, but also on that field. For your imagination, in 2020, I think it was $1 trillion US dollars invested into the telemedicine at all. Because I started this part about that we as a humans can do anything in the terms of technology or technical solution. I think that, as I said, all the questions in the future medicine will be just ethical. Would it be us as a Homo sapiens just continuing our story, or are we going to change ourselves to something as a Homo Deus? So maybe for you guys who don't read this book, I would recommend that there is a couple of answers for your intensive questions. The second part, I promised to speak something about why we are here. I mean, in the Czech market mostly. Hopefully, next months we will move a bit more towards Europe. What kind of solution we are offering to the system? People here, especially medical personnel, specialists, and also state itself and his or its agencies, they are talking so much in the terms of security, in the terms of regulations, and it's quite intensive. And for me, and basic user, it's not understandable at all. If I'm trying to explain what is a telemedicine, I'm saying, guys, imagine that you have some device in your pocket, usually a mobile phone. Imagine that there is a kind of application. I'm not sure if this already exists, but maybe some future or next time. You have a voice recognition, you have a kind of AI powered application, and you basically fart on your mobile phone. And because there is a very good application, it will call you in a millisecond. Hey, man, the voice from your buttock was a bit different comparing the healthy persons, because I compared 10,000 the other sounds. And this looks like you have a hemorrhoids. So please contact your proctologist, and just to help you, there is an appointment for one which is the nearest to you or to your location according to your GPS in a mobile phone. This is a future of telehealth. Doesn't matter if it's physical or psychological, mental health, whatever. It has to be quite easy. It has to be one click. It has to be oriented to the user. I used a couple of slides from a very interesting study of Deloitte, quite fresh, 2021, comparing six European countries, how far they are with digitalization, and what kind of troubles they are facing off. Basically, it's not surprising for you that demand of care about the patient in the terms of physical or mental health is just growing up quite quickly. And on the other side, there's less manpower. That means less doctors, probably less facilities. We are getting older, in not only in Europe but globally, and we have to change our mindset how to deal with the problem. And it's not about to more medical personnel on the place, but it's about digital medicine in the future. This is probably not much important, but all the things in a digitalization of medicine is about a cooperation. So several stakeholders has to cooperate, otherwise it's not going to be a good solution for the user. In Czech Republic, we are facing the same thing. That means there is a demand of care in next years, 2030. It's about almost approximate 20%. Growing up in all the districts of Czech Republic, and on the other side, you see the tsunami of age of our general practitioners. Basically, they are 65 today, and in 5 years there will be nobody. Who will replace them? Because the medical students, they are not going too fast and not to have such interest to be general practitioner. So the only option is to use kind of digital approach. Something about Czech population, and again, the answer why we are here. We grew up 20 years of our age. It's we are doing kind of sports. In 40 years, we are not doing them so much, getting more fat, drinking alcohol. We are one of the first country in the world in the terms of consumption of alcohol. And then we are 60, I mean 80, mentally, physically, and in 80 we are dying. There is a difference between us and, for example, countries on the north of Europe, because they have a much better quality of post-productive life than we have, approximately about 5 years difference. That means if we get up from work and getting retired, we have no power to travel, we have no eyes to read all the books, we have no time for our kids because we are just seeking for the medical care and so on. And this has to be changed. This is just a couple of economics, just briefly. We pay less than average of Europe in the terms of health insurance. And having worse results in the comparing the rest of the Europe in the terms of treatment and prevention. Basically, overall, all the Europe is coming to be more healthy by prevention, and in Czech Republic, we going more to pay. That means to spend more money to treat, and that's big difference, and something has to be changed also by digital medicine. Explaining that by numbers, more than 400 billion Czech crown is spent on the care, and just 2.5% is spent for prevention. So if you would love to deal with the aging in the future, and this probably pay for all the Europe, you have to be more focused on prevention and give people more time to spend good quality of life once they are retired. To not only spend instead of 80 years approximately today in Europe, 100 years, but not in pain, but in with a smile on your face. Three very important and for me exciting models how to deal with the health. One is already expressed by 17 goals of United Nations SDGs. Chapter 3 is about the health. 5P or 4P about personalized, participatory, permanent, and predictive medicine. It's essential for us in uLékaře.cz because this is exactly what we would love to offer our clients in the terms of physical health. That means you monitored by something, several sensors you can have on your skin, on your body. Probably next time, 5-10 years, we will have small nanobots in our blood as a sensors. Some of them will be monitoring our brain activity. Some of them, they will be placed in the liver, and you will have a huge amount of data for to follow trends, for to to offer the precise and personalized medical care. Of course, client has to participate. In Czech Republic, it's not today like we would love to have, because people, patients, they always think that doctor is God and can solve anything, and not many of them are thinking about that health is in their hands. And the third part or model of me, and I'm a big fan of that, is about do not economics and do not healthcare, which is part of that, because we are living in the planet, and there's a limit of our sources. So put always the money into healthcare system according gross according unlimited money. It's not the way for all of us. It has to be somehow circular, as we are thinking about the environment or climate change. This is just comparing about, if I'm explaining here in Czech Republic, and willing myself to be understandable for public. We invest a lot to the car, and car is going to be today super technologically equipped. That means that you can do predictive maintenance. That means before your car crash or something is getting wrong, they will replace that, or they can replace that. So that means that you will never stop in the middle of night somewhere in highway. The same thing you can do for the human body, but it's not story of today. We have to change mindset of Czech people, maybe European people at all, in the future. And that's our story. So basically, how we can help for people to be more healthy and to use or to be happy from retirement or from last part of life. We would love to rise up healthy life years, about 5 years until 2030. So, how we can help in uLékaře.cz in the terms of some examples. We started our mission a couple of years ago, and basically it was just a kind of Google, easy box for searching, and that was all. A huge database of medical expressions, articles, labs, devices, whatever. That was a start of our story. Then we changed to the recent service, and maybe now it's time to give you one of the two polls I have prepared for you guys. Once we started to serve our service in the terms of distance medical care, what do you think was more surprised for not only B2C clients, but mostly for B2B clients? Basically, A was a capability, B capacity, C velocity, and D altogether. I will give you some time to respond for this first poll, and we'll continue 2 or 3 slides more and then be back. This is a kind of theoretical model, how we designed our service a couple of years ago. All the green things, they are completely digital. And the red part is how we are connect to the physical care. That means to the hospital, the OPDs, to the existing physical doctors. Too much to the details, but most important is going from the left, where you see a red patient with a kind of problem, to be on the right, finally, have a kind of satisfaction in the term, mostly physical care, but also regarding mental health, and to having good user experience, which is something completely new in the system, such in Czech Republic. Health is yours. That's our claim for now, for the new campaign we started. Imagine what we do. I will show you next slide, just to let you know that we have a long experience here. More than now, it's 150,000 employees in more than 100 companies, starting from small 50 people to giants like 10,000, 36,000 company. One of this exists also covered by our service. And virtual hospital of us means 350, a bit more medical personnel in different specialization. If you are using our service, it's going from the step connection with a general practitioner 24/7 all the time, also for your children. Then there is a step 2. All of them, of course, they are distance, virtual. There is a specialist. Finally, if the specialist decided to be seen by doctor in the hospital, there is a step 3. It's a nurse and fully digitalized call center. And 4 is our partners all around the Czech Republic. Doesn't matter if it's private or university hospital. We try to deliver care as much quick as we can, and of course looking mostly on the quality of care. We started from these 2 pillars, I mean, online consultation and then appointment. But last year showed us post-COVID that the prevention is probably going to be the main part. We would love to keep people healthy until they die. So the prevention is for us probably final vision where we are driving our service uLékaře.cz in the future. Just to show you how it works, Jimmy 6 is going to the general practitioner and seen by specialist, then the nurse. It's just repeating what I already showed before. And there is also huge feedback coming to the beginning of all the process. 3 stories as an example. Your child is getting sick. You have no idea what's going on using uLékaře.cz by application or computer, whatever you want to use. There is a small part of artificial intelligence, small chatbot on the beginning, just helping you even to the right specialist. Finally, there is at least satisfaction from the information. Sometimes we can deal all the problem just virtually with no need to be seen by a physical doctor. Most of the people, they come to us with the problem of misunderstanding the medical record, no explanation, no time in OPD of doctor. So we are here just to explain everything the right way to be understandable. The same thing is a second opinion. Just looking to the poll on my computer, and I don't see the results so much. I see that 50% altogether. Thank you, guys. Exactly. Altogether, and it was quite surprising even for us how usable we are for the public and for the companies. Last story is just you have problem in the last moment somewhere outside. We serve our service for so many expats living here in the country, from US, from other places around the globe, but also we helping the people who are going outside for vacation, for the purpose of some job. And these are also our clients. Overall, and now we also have our cooperation with Hedepy. We try to be partner for mostly companies who are using our service in the time of COVID. We support a lot. Then by knowledge, especially all the time I'm mentioning that we are focused more on the physical health, but the mental health is a huge part of our service in cooperation with our partners. And finally, probably last 3 minutes for the presentation, just to tell you, this is a kind of model like an iceberg. Maybe you expect that most of the time regarding your employees is spent on absence when they are seeking for the doctors, waiting in waiting room. Everything is so long. That means if you are going to see your GP, you have to ask for all day off from the company. But the biggest problem is not absence, but is something call it presentism. Looking the other side, you see the white of the problem, and you see also the money and time spending by companies on such a problem. To have somebody on the spot in the office or in the factory doesn't mean that the people or the men, women, they are effective because they are thinking about the medical problem. They are seeking for a medical doctor. They are not concentrated. And all the things I'm talking about is called presentism. And this is something we really helping to the companies with. And it's also something which is quite measurable. You may see this banana on the top of that. That's part of our marketing. Comparing these big bubbles, the banana, small bubble means it's cheap. It's super cheap. The service we are offering to entire globe, our clients, is super cheap comparing the problem in the terms of money they are dealing with, presentism, absence, contacting doctor, and so on. This is just our winners, companies from banking, IT companies, but also big factories, for example, in Czech Republic, Škoda is our client, and so on. Part of our communication, we are trying to explain very briefly who we are, where you use us. It's link you, and if you would love to try it, and so far you living in Czech Republic, you can register. Hopefully, next couple of months we will be serving to other European countries. Thank you for your attendance. Maybe before we start the discussion, I will just realize the second poll I have prepared for you guys. So, when you thought about our product, we decided to be driven by, and first, to be connected to the healthcare system and its conservative part, such as medical doctors, then be connected to payers as an option to smoothly join the public insurance system. And C, we decided just to forget all of them and just to be focused our customers with no regards to the system and payers. Waiting for your answers and ready for discussion now. And thank you again. You join my presentation.
Thank you very much, Tomáš. I'm really, I made a lot of notes actually, listening to all the innovation when it comes to telemedicine. Actually, I want to ask the question that came from Slido from one of our viewers, and that is, are people worried about telemedicine? Do they trust it as much as they trust the real doctor?
I would say yes. I cannot say anything else because it's my job and job of my colleagues. But it's true because we were here many years before COVID came to us, also in Czech Republic, and things start to change. And now we are about 750, 100,000 consultations in all of amount consultation we did in the past. So, and most of our clients, they are quite loyal, coming back once they would love to enter the health system. The starting point is uLékaře.cz. So we also educate a lot Czech population about how to use and that it's trustable and no worries about the security. We are not so much fans of regulations talking about cybersecurity. We have an ISO 27001, which is about, or maybe highest ISO norm of security at all. But we are not so much talking about that because all the people, they share even medical stories on Facebook, on the social network. So if they do that, no worries that you can abuse kind of data, because everything about anybody is already known. But it's a kind of hyperbole from my side. I'm just saying that, yes, for our clients, for our people, for companies such as Deloitte, EY, PwC, they have a really strict rules. If you would love to start kind of cooperation, we are trustable, and I think that the digital medical care is trustable, especially post-COVID time at all.
You had heard the hype cycle. When do you expect telemedicine to become part of the mass market? So my mom starts using it. Do you have any predictions on that?
I hope that it becomes in my life here in our country, because we are on the tail of other European countries. They are far away from us. There are several winners, such as Sweden, Denmark, and other, especially North European countries. But kind of prediction, I would say the time is changing. Health insurances houses, they start already kind of pilots. So I hope that it's going to be measurable part of healthcare system in next 2-3 years.
Wow.
I'm not saying that it's going to be majority, but there will be a couple of successful pilots. And so that means entering point to the public healthcare insurance system.
That's really great. And I think it's a great incentive for companies to actually start implementing it, because they will need to implement it really soon. So it's better it's the prevention you talked about, like starting to work on that. I think we might have lost Tomáš. Okay, I see him.
I hope not.
Yeah, great. I was so worried. One of the questions that came again, how long does it take to implement uLékaře in a new company? So, I'm completely taken aback. I'm in love. I want to start using it as a company. How long does it take?
Usually there is a part of negotiation which takes some time, because we have to explain all the service now, because we have a really good references. It's much quicker than on the beginning. And I hope that now we are quite trustable. That means negotiations are about 2-3 months, something like that. Implementation part is quite quick. It's about 2 to 4 weeks. We usually starting with an awareness campaign. It depends if it's mostly to the office people, then this could be digital. On the other hand, imagine factory such as Škoda Automotive. Some of the people, they have not even smartphones. So we are trying to approach a different way. Sometimes it's necessary to print something. Also, days, which is offline event specialists focused on eyes, on backs, or mental health, whatever, just to introduce our service. And then we try to follow up basically to the third pillar of our service, which is prevention. Because you are not too much ill all the time. That means most of the time you are healthy. But in regards of prevention, there is always basically daily based issue you can deal with our clients. And that's especially we are focused now in the last year.
I love the fact that it kind of becomes my coach, so it's not me popping to the doctor every time I'm sick, but it's kind of like coaching me with this prevention. And maybe even like kind of instead of taking time to come to my doctor, really dialing in and checking it, and maybe like catching some of the illnesses early enough to be treatable, for example.
Sure, true. We see ourselves mostly not as a virtual hospital. Of course, it's a majority of our job, but we are a logistic company. We have a good system here in of care. Medical healthcare in Czech Republic is one of the best in the world.
Two questions, short ones that came from Slido. What medical issues are the most common? What people are seeking treatment for?
Basically 5 specialization and huge category of problems. Neurology, orthopedic, surgery, gynecology, and dermatology, they are our favorite. But then just connected to them, it's mental health and other things. Basically, we started to help the people with basically sickness, basic sickness, flu, whatever. Today, we are able to deal with oncological patients. We did heart transplantation, not virtually, but we started with the patient. On the beginning, it was uLékaře.cz. In one company, it was a L'Oreal. And the patient successfully finished with a artificial valve in her heart. So now a wide range of the service, mostly from physical, they are favorite for our users.
And the last question, and I think it's a perfect wrap up, your wish for the future of well-being at work.
For me, it's a combination of many factors. I would love for our clients and for myself to be healthy, let's say to reach 90 or 100 years of my life without no pain, without no mental disorder, without no hip replacement, and things driven by mostly technology. I'm not so much fan to change my genetic code. I'm not going to chemicals, but for me, it's a technology, how I can reach this heaven. So this I would love to wish to everybody to very good understand what does it mean resilience, how to help to stay employee focused, how to deal with the medical care by technology to make it easy, to make it friendly, to make it basically customer oriented.